Today is Sunday, May 5th, 2019, the third Sunday of Easter. In contrast to yesterday, where we had to get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, today, thank God they let us sleep in. I really needed a little extra sleep. Last night, once again, we had a conference with Jim Caviezel, and we're not allowed to record any of it. Quick summary of what he said, because he just spoke this time, it wasn't question and answer. He gave a talk about what I want to summarize as vocation. The word does mean calling. He did affirm the priesthood. He did affirm all of those whose vocation is, whether it be a husband and wife, raising children, but he particularly said that every one of these vocations has the same need to spread the good news and has the same need to go out and evangelize the world. And so, in a quick summary, I would say he's calling each and every person, no matter what your state in life, to do your part for the kingdom. For some, it's grand as he's got the burden on his shoulders of portraying Jesus Christ. For the rest of us, it's just in our daily routine of our prayer, our concern for others, and our offerings that we make to God. I will say this, in my walk away from Jim Caviezel's talk last night, I have to affirm once again, we human beings are sinners. I am a sinner. If I don't start there, I sometimes struggle. And so I say once again, I am a sinner who is repenting and trying to grow in holiness. If you can start with that perspective, think of what you could accomplish for God. Because now it's not the sin that holds me back, it's the grace that he gives that propels me forward. Be propelled. And just like the way Jim Caviezel had pointed out the other evening, there are plenty of actors in Hollywood, but he was the one chosen to portray Jesus. All those others may have been able to do so and would have brought their style, but let's face it, he brought something rather unique to it. I'd like to extend that thought to a company like 206 Tours. First off, 206 Tours, thank you. This is run tremendously well. There have been few glitches, if any at all, but not just that part of it, that technical part of it. The spirituality of a 206 pilgrimage is unbelievable. Our pilgrims are growing in faith, they're growing in relation to one another, and that's all because of the atmosphere and the environment that 206 cultivates. This is not a business-first company. This is a pilgrimage-first company. This is a faith-first company. And I will give you kudos once again, for you are tremendous in this Catholic pilgrimage world.
Definitely.
And now our day is going to begin. We're going to do a little visitation inside the old city today. We'll be going to St. Anne's Church. We're going to be stopping at the Western Wall. We're going to be eventually heading out to the Dead Sea today. Kind of looking forward to that. Lowest spot on earth. Good morning, Habib.
Good morning, Father Peter.
How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Did you get a little extra sleep today?
Yes.
Everybody did.
Yes, like a baby.
Like a baby. So we're making our way here along the wall. We're about to enter through the gate to get into the old city. We're stopping at the Church of St. Anne to visit there and to see some of the beautiful architecture and art.
Mind your step.
Peace and prayers from Jerusalem.
She gave birth to the Virgin Mary. She dedicated her to God in the temple, because at that time, when people are barren and then they will be able to give birth, they will dedicate their kids or their children to God in the temple. Remember when we were going into the old city, I told you on the left-hand side there is the Temple Mount, yes?
Ante clamamus, exules Filii Evae.
No cuts, Father. Get in the back of the line, Father.
Yes, ma'am. Right behind me now is the Church of St. Anne, dedicated to St. Anne. It's a relatively newer church. Beautiful acoustics for singing and music. Down below is where St. Anne and St. Joachim had lived, and this is where the Blessed Mother was born. Now, of course, after she's betrothed to Joseph, she's going to move up to Nazareth. But here is where she was born. We just had a chance to go down and to reverence in the place where the Blessed Mother herself was born. To be honest, no matter where I go in the world, I always seem to find some Filipinos, no matter where I go Catholic.
Hi!
This is Judy.
Hi.
We become like Filipino friends.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely amazing, and it will take me weeks and weeks to process everything that I've seen, that I've just been soaking in. It would have to be two places actually, the Sea of Galilee and the Stations of the Cross. And yesterday when we did that, and it was in the still of the morning, but still with the crowd of 206 tour around, I just, walking that path, just thought, Jesus walking up that steep hill and how he must have felt with the crowds pressing in on him and mocking or shouting, weeping and mourning. So it was an incredible experience.
The Stations of the Cross will never be the same.
Never be the same.
So we're departing now from St. Anne's here and the pool of Bethesda and everything, and I have to admit this is a very prayerful place and a wonderful place to be because of its connection to the Blessed Mother.
He said, "Behold the man." So this is the echo home.
You're definitely you all right? Definitely in a case of follow the flag and watch where you're walking. See, the problem you have here is the streets are ancient. These were not made for this kind of traffic and movement, and yet they still seem to survive. They manage.
You can put it or dip.
The other way.
Oh, sorry.
It's not an ecumenical thing. Break the bread.
So, this is how it works. Habib wanted us to experience the Jerusalem bagel, so we just stopped and we got a bunch of these little bagels. They're good. Making our way through these very narrow streets and making it through the old city of Jerusalem, we have entered into this huge square where they have what's known as the Western Wall, or commonly called the Wailing Wall. This is the wall that was from the temple at the time of Jesus. So these stones would have been certainly here and certainly would have been one upon another as Jesus came to preach and Jesus came to teach. Certainly at the Passovers in different times. It is quite common for bar mitzvahs to be going on, and they have some very interesting rituals that they do within them. I can't say that I completely understand them, but there's always something that's going on.
Rabbi, teacher, look how great buildings do we have. And this is when Jesus told him that time will come when no stone will remain on top of the other.
Okay, to approach the Western Wall over here, the men have to have their heads covered. So I had to get one of these little yarmulkes to put on my head. There's a tradition to, of course, go up. You could take petitions, place them in the wall, or just place your hand on the wall and say a prayer. And as I prayed here and I placed my hand, I did add an intention for all of you.
שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
And Shaddai, that is another name of God. So this is how they wrap it on their hand. Shaddai. It will be in the forms of Shin, Dalet, Yud.
We've now finished part one of our touring today. We went over to see the St. Anne's Church where the Bethesda pools were. We've visited the Western Wall. We made our way through the city. Now we're on the bus and we're heading over to the Church of St. Savior for Holy Mass. So this particular church where we've arrived, it feels like we've stepped out of the Middle East and back into medieval Europe. Very ornate and definitely Catholic-looking church. All right, we just finished saying Holy Mass here. Monsignor Franco did a great job. Now we're heading out to the Dead Sea. So we just finished our Mass at the Church of St. Saviour. We're getting now back on the bus. And as we pull out of here, we're heading out to the Dead Sea. People love to float in the Dead Sea. You can't swim or go underwater, really. You have to float. That's the only option you have. But it's going to be quite the experience. It's such a curative place for many people. So off we go.
Was died, he wept for him. And
So we've made our way down here to the Dead Sea. A lot of people are now getting changed, getting ready to go in. I'm just going to go down, take a quick look around, see how things are going. It looks beautifully clear out here.
I know.
Now, certainly we have evidence that St. John the Baptist and possibly even Jesus were out in the Qumran community. The Qumran community is just a stone's throw from here, so there's a very good possibility that they might have come down here to the Dead Sea. There's no way you can make the Dead Sea into drinking water. It's so filled with salt and other chemicals, but supposedly completely healthy stuff for your skin and for your body. Planning on going in?
Yes, of course.
Amen. So you're a land lover?
Land lover. I can't swim, and I wouldn't want to find out I can't float either.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, lovely.
The landscape of Jordan? I came to take care of the kids. They're playing in the water. They might put salt in their eyes, so I'll clean their eyes.
Whenever they both of them come out over there, take a picture.
It's Wednesday, hump day. Bill, what day is it? It's hump day. Hey, I can't remember how the commercial goes, but it's a great commercial. I'm not doing it justice.
So how was it, Father?
You put ours up?
It was blessed by the best.
What time
I
is it?
exfoliated. I was out there in the sun. All gift from God. And of course, whatever time it is, look at your watch right now. Look at your clock. And you are loved. Whatever time it is, you are loved.
Hi!
We rode camels today!
And swam in the Dead Sea.
Dead Sea!
And we look like popsicles.
And we can check it off our bucket list.
And candy canes.
And you are loved.
You are loved.
So what's going on? How's it? You enjoying yourself, huh?
It's great. How are you enjoying?
You know-
Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm sweating right now.
I think you need to go freshen up in the Dead Sea.
There you go. No, that's not fresh.
You're right.
That's not fresh.
You're right.
So I would have to say for everybody out there, probably floating in the Dead Sea at least once in your life is definitely well worth it. So we're now wrapping up our day here. We're heading back to the hotel. We're gonna have a nice dinner, another talk, and then a good night's sleep.